mimer that Rabbi Badelman was referring to is MAH04037. And before I begin my recitation of the mimer, I should say that a discourse like this really should be studied in order to be grasped. I found it a bit convoluted without the appropriate actual study of the concepts. It gets a bit confusing. So in my humble opinion, it should be more studied. But as is tradition, I will attempt to read and explain some of the concepts through my own understanding of the mimer. So the mimer begins. Lecha dodi lekrat kala pnei Shabbat nekra bala v'chine hashabat nikret kala v'nikret malka v'kama amar Shabbat mikrat malkata dechine hatan v'kala hare hehatan nikra melech kidika baperke darabi Eliezer perek tafzain hatan domer melech v'hakala nikrait malka. Come, my beloved, to be my bride. Let us welcome Shabbos. Shabbos is also called a bride and is also called a Shabbos queen, as in saying the Shabbos queen. The relationship between Shabbos and bride is underscored in case of a physical human bride and groom. The groom is called king and the bride is called queen. To explain the concept of queen, it is written, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Bereshit. This means that physical man is created in the image and likeness of supernal man, which refers to the supernal Sephirot. Sephirot are the attributes and emotions that Hashem encloses himself in when he dwells in our world, and is how he reveals himself to us and how he directs the revealed world and hidden worlds. There are 10 divine attributes, 3 intellectual and 7 emotional. Since man is created in the image of the supernal, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya, chapter 3, says we also possess these 10 attributes. In short, just as we reveal ourselves through the garments of thought, speech, and action, so Hashem reveals himself through the Sephirah. Within the supernal Sephirah of Azulat, Ze'er, and Pin, literally small face, the 7 emotional Sephirah of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut is called king. Of all the worlds, Atzilut is the loftiest. It is a place where there is no feeling of self, just a oneness and awareness of something greater. Atzilut is not a created world like our world, Asiya, but is an emanated world. It is in Atzilut that God's attributes, or Sephirot, are first manifested. Now back to the idea of king and queen. If physical man is created in the image of the Sephirah, it follows that the physical concept of king and queen has spiritual counterparts. The Sephirah of Malchut is called queen, even though it has both male and female attributes. And king is referring to Ze'er and Pin, small face of Atzilut. In terms of Ze'er and Pin, small face, and Malchut, it parallels the physical, intimate relationship between a king and queen. The king, male, is the transmitter, and the queen, female, is the receiver. The Zohar states that a king without a queen is neither a king or great. It is of primary importance that there be a union of Ze'er and Pin and Malchut, transmitter and receiver. In the relationship between Ze'er and Pin and Malchut, Ze'er and Pin would seemingly be of a higher stature because it is the transmitter of godly light, while Malchut is the recipient. But the Zohar states that without Malchut, Ze'er and Pin is neither a king or great. This is because the purpose of transmitting light is that it is received and contained in a kli or a vessel, in this case with the attribute of Malchut. If this does not occur, then Ze'er and Pin has not fulfilled its purpose. But furthermore, Malchut's greatness is not limited to the fact that it enables the transmission of light, godly light, emanating from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But Malchut actually serves as a vehicle for an even greater godly light that surpasses that of Ze'er and Pin. In terms of a receiver and transmitter, in the Torah's account of creation, man and woman, it is only after male and female he created them and then he blessed them. In Bereshit it says, man alone was unworthy of God's blessing. It was only after Hashem created woman that he blessed them both and said, be fruitful and multiply. As mentioned above, the transmitter cannot realize his purpose, be fruitful and multiply, without the receiver, a woman. The female aspects of Malchut is the source of this blessing. And the same is true of Shabbos and bride, who are likened to Malchut and queen. They are the source of supernal blessings. Therefore, just as Shabbos must be received with joy, as Shabbos is the source of all blessings, and all other days are blessed from Shabbos, similarly, the bride must be received with joy, as she is the source of the loftiest of blessings. Come, my beloved, to meet my bride. Let us welcome the Shabbos. That is recited in the Kabbalat Shabbos service is based on the following Talmudic passage. As sunset on Friday evening came, Rabbi Chania, who would wrap himself in fine garments and stand and say, come, let us go out to greet the Shabbos queen. Rabbi Yanai would don his Shabbos garments on the eve of Shabbos and say, enter, O bride, enter, O bride, O bride. The Zohar states that all Shabbos preparations should be done before Shabbos. One needs to prepare not only food and clothes, but a fine recliner and embroidered pillows and covers, from the best found within the house. Just like one prepares a marriage chamber for a bride. Remember, Shabbos is both a queen and a bride. Just as Shabbos is the source of all blessings, similarly, rejoicing with the groom and bride and receiving them with joy is the source of the blessings. A deeper meaning of the chuppah, as it is written, for over all the honors there will be a chuppah. The word all indicates that there are two kinds of honors, encompassing by the chuppah, the honor of the groom and the honor of the bride. In God's relationship with the Jewish people, Hashem is called the groom and the Jewish people are the bride. Our sages comment on the phrase, on this wedding day. This is the giving of the Torah, where the Jewish people were wed to Hashem. Just as the wedding is a union between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Jewish people. With this union, Hashem is the giver and the Jewish people the receiver. The word honor in the context refers to a quality that encompasses both the bride and the groom. This quality is love. Hashem loves the Jewish people, and the Jewish people love Hashem. As it is written, I have loved you, said Hashem, and the Jewish people's love for Hashem is the honor of the bride, as it is written. My soul yearns for you indicates that we thirst for Hashem's courtyard. And the chuppah refers to this at a loftier level, generally both the bride and the groom. Both the bride and the groom possess aspects of encompassing, which is their love for each other. But for a union of a bride and a groom to take place, two distinct and at times completely opposite entities require an even greater encompassing force. This force is the chuppah. The chuppah which surrounds a groom and a bride represent an encompassing godly light, or soviv kalamin, or in Hasidus, an or makif, an outer light. This godly light is so lofty that it can join together these two forces. To explain surrounding light in one sense, let's take the idea of surrounding, or makif, and turn it upside down. It is usually explained that an or makif surrounds but does not permeate a kli or a vessel because of its supernal greatness. But maybe, in this instance, the godly light that surrounds and encompasses both the bride and the groom can be panemius, or internally felt by a person or the people it surrounds, and could allude to a greater revelation of godliness that is felt at some internal level, but not necessarily understood at that moment. It has not reached the level of das, but has a greater capacity within the spiritual to unite. There is another aspect of godly light. The groom refers to light that descends on high and draws near to the souls of the Jewish people. The word hatan, groom in Hebrew, relates to the word chot, which means descend. Bride refers to the rising up of souls to draw near to godliness, to bring these two opposite forces together. There must be a chuppah, the revelation of godly light, that is so lofty that it can unite the bride and groom in perfect union of one. But before this union can happen, there must be a ceremonial welcoming of the bride, in which the groom covers the bride's face with a veil. On a deeper level, in order to be any union of giver and receiver, the receiver must ascend to draw close to the giver. But before this can take place, the giver needs to establish an external connection to the receiver. To do this, the giver must give something of his external faculties that will touch the external faculties of the receiver, thus enabling her to raise herself, or raise themselves, to the level of the giver, and enable herself to receive from the giver a deeper panemius, or internal transmission. An example of this is the mentor and mentee relationship. The mentor's goal is to become close to the mentee, so the mentee will eventually come to think and act like the mentor. The mentor wants to share a deep personal connection to the mentee, but since the mentee is at a very much lower level, initially, the mentor has to raise the mentee to a higher level. But this raising up of the mentee must first be done at a very basic level, where the faculties can receive from the mentor. This could be said to be a concealment of knowledge, in order to give understanding to the mentee at a basic level. This is a starting point in which the relationship can grow and become deeper and more meaningful. This is true of the deeper significance of Kabbalat Panim ceremony. The groom, the giver, approaches the bride, the receiver, and covers her face with a veil, thus establishing a very basic external connection with her. This raises the bride to a higher standing, and thus enables the chuppah, a place where the bride and groom unite in a deeper, more connective, panemius, or internal way.